So we're going to look at the hierarchy of a page and basically how HTML and CSS they actually structure all these items and containers we're creating and so on. If we look at the first one, the center one here, this is basically what would happen if I were to create 4 div blocks with an equal height of say 40 pixels high and wide. And if we assigned a actual color to it, we could actually see them, or they would just be white. But it would structure them like this, but as actually basically it would do it like this, so right next to each other. We would have to create a margin for the space to be there. But this is what it's going to do, basically. So it builds from the top and then down, or horizontally, not horizontally, vertically, it's going down that way. We've been using a lot of display flex, and if I were to add display flex to these 4 items, what would happen is it would actually do it like this. The one I have over here, it would start doing all these blocks that we build in a horizontal way, so going from left and then going right. So as long as there's still space for an entire of these blocks, it's just going to continue. But if we run out of space up here, you see this one can't be up here, no, it doesn't fit, goes to next line, and then it automatically pops it in there. So this is basically 2 ways of structuring. So as a default it looks like this, where it builds down, and if we use, for example, display flex, it builds like this. Display flex is really good for some things and can be hard to work with other things. But that's, again, the more you use it, the better you know how to use it, to actually structure things using it and so on. So that's just basics of this. If we were to look at this one over here, where we have a little design, let's call it that, some structure maybe, on how can we actually build this by using this flex here. So if we look at the first one, this is our header. This is our main section, this could be our footer section. And inside our main we have this extra container, call it what you will, it could be just div ID container. This has 2 items, and these 2 here, so another div item 1, div item 2, or whatever you want to call them. And that again has 2 sub items or children, and this would be the blue one, or light blue one would be the one for example, the images, and down here the bottom one would be for the text. So we're starting to structure out like we talked about up here. Basically it's like this. That's what we're doing here, kind of, to start structuring our HTML. The better we get at this, the easier it will be to build our pages. So this is why I implore you to do wireframing before you start coding all the time. Use time on that, because it can help you save a lot of time in the end, so you don't have to redo a lot of things. So important to know which boxes to make before you actually start doing it. And the only way, or the only time you should be able to just start doing HTML like this, just by looking at design and start implementing it, if you've done it a lot and feel really comfortable with it. It's not as easy as it seems. It takes time to learn how to structure this. So wireframing, basically this part here. We've been using flex for this, so flexing stuff in here by using flex, for which I just said. We're using justify content to center things, to align items to center them vertically and horizontally, and so on. We used many different things. But the reason we're wrapping up season 1 now is because in season 2 of this video we're going to look at something called display grid. And display grid is kind of like flex, but we can do more things with it basically, and we can also do less things. So it's easy, it's kind of like which one do you prefer mostly, and so you choose that one, and you can also mix them together. The last part with mixing them is where I really feel they shine the most. So the flex part we've been using, I would definitely use that for doing things like this in here. So structuring the items inside a container, in this case these 2, and just helping to make everything fit together, be responsive, so if it shrinks it goes bigger and so on. And I would use grid for the outer layer, so the actual design of the page, so having the header compared to the main, compared to this, possibly some sub containers and so on. But we're going to look into grid and what we can actually use this for. That's really the 2 different things. I won't go more into grid right now, but flex is what we've been using to structuring things, and it's great for something and it's hard to use for other things. So that's again just a quick info on what hierarchy means in HTML and CSS.